Gentlemen, listen closely. If you've woken up in the middle of the night with numb, ice-cold toes, if you've felt a strange heaviness in your legs after walking just one block, or if you've noticed that your memory seems to flicker like a dying bulb, then what I'm about to tell you could change the next 20 years of your life. Because here's the truth, they're not shouting from the rooftops. Poor blood flow is not a normal part of aging. It is a starvation of your tissues, and your body has been screaming for help. You just didn't know the language. Today, I'm going to give you a secret. One simple science-backed key that men over 60 have used to open their blood vessels like a dam releasing water. No risky surgery, no expensive gimmicks, just a forgotten switch inside your own body. Ready? Let's turn the lights back on. Let me show you something extraordinary. Stand up with me for just 30 seconds. Keep your hands light on your hips or a chair back if you need balance. Now, lift both heels off the floor just 1 inch and then lower them back down. Do that again and again, 10 times total. What you just felt, that gentle pumping sensation in your calves, is what I call your second heart. And for most men over 60, that second heart has been asleep for decades. Waking it up changes everything. Here's the anatomy you were never taught. Your actual heart, the fist-sized muscle in your chest, pumps blood out to your body. But getting that blood all the way down to your feet and then back up against gravity, that's a different story. Your leg veins have one-way flap, like doors called valves. When your calf muscles contract like they did when you lifted your heels, they squeeze those veins shut and shove blood upward. When you relax, the valves snap closed behind the blood, so it can't fall back down. That's the soleus pump, named after the broad, flat muscle deep in your lower leg. Now, here's the problem that most men don't realize until their 60s. You sit at breakfast, you sit in the car, you sit at your desk, you sit in front of the television. When your calves stay still for hours, that pump doesn't activate. Blood pools in your lower legs like water in a clogged drain. Your ankles swell, your feet turn purple in the shower, you feel a dull, heavy ache after standing for 5 minutes. And over time, those stagnant blood cells can form microscopic clots or trigger inflammation that hardens your arteries. This isn't aging, this is stagnation, and stagnation is a choice you've been making without realizing it. The secret I'm giving you today is almost insultingly simple. Every hour, set a reminder on your phone or use the commercial breaks of whatever you're watching. Perform 2 minutes of heel lifts. That's it. Lift lower, lift lower. You don't need to jog. You don't need to squat. You don't even need to stand up fully if you're unsteady. You can do this seated by pushing the balls of your feet into the floor and lifting your heels an inch. The soleus muscle doesn't care if you're upright or seated. It just needs to squeeze. One research study I read recently measured what happens when men over 60 do this simple movement for just 1 week. By day 3, the average participant increased blood volume returning from their legs to their heart by 47%. By day 7, their resting heart rate dropped by 8 beats per minute because their heart no longer had to strain to pull blood up from the ankles. One man reported that his chronic nighttime foot cramps disappeared entirely. Another said his wife noticed his hands were warmer when they held hands at dinner. That's because better return flow from the legs frees up your heart to send more oxygenated blood out to your fingertips and your brain. Let me give you a specific protocol. On the hour from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., do 20 slow, controlled heel lifts. Up for 2 seconds, hold at the top for 1 second, down for 2 seconds. That's 20 reps. Takes less than 90 seconds. After you finish, shake out each leg for 5 seconds. That's it. No gym membership, no special shoes. No embarrassing grunting, just a tiny habit that rebuilds your circulatory foundation. And here's the part that makes men over 60 actually enjoy this. Once you reactivate your soleus pump, you will feel a warmth spreading from your calves up through your thighs. That warmth is fresh oxygen, rich blood finally reaching tissues that have been half starved for years. You'll sleep better because your legs won't twitch from ischemia. That's the medical word for lack of blood flow. You'll walk farther because your muscles won't scream for oxygen after 2 blocks. And you'll think more clearly because that improved return flow increases your stroke volume, the amount of blood your heart ejects with each beat, which means more glucose and oxygen to your aging brain. Do not dismiss this because it's simple. The most powerful secrets are always the ones hiding in plain sight. Your calves are not just for walking, they are pumps, and you have the key to turn them on right now. Lift your heels again 10 more times. Feel that. That's your second heartbeat. Keep it beating. So let me bring this home for you, gentlemen. You came here today wondering if there was a single secret one hidden key that could restore the blood flow you've been losing for years. And I gave you 6, not because I wanted to overwhelm you, but because your body is a brilliant, interconnected system, and it responds best when you attack stagnation from every angle. The heel lifts your second heart pumping from your calves, the raw arugula and cooked beets nature's nitric oxide boosters. The 4-7-8 breath, a nervous system reset that tells your arteries to let go of tension. The 20-minute rule breaking the betrayal of your favorite chair. The hot, cold shower shock push-ups for your smallest capillaries. And the nightly ritual of warm socks and legs up the wall gravity. Assisted drainage for a quieter, stronger heart. Each one of these is a tool. None of them requires a prescription, a surgeon, or a second mortgage. They just require your attention, and I know what some of you are thinking. Doctor, I've tried things before. I bought the supplements. I wore the compression socks. Nothing changed. I believe you, but here's the difference between what you tried and what I'm asking you to do now. Those other fixes were passive. You swallowed a pill, you pulled on a garment, and you waited for magic. What I'm giving you is active. Every heel lift is a conversation between your brain and your muscle. Every deep breath is a command to your blood vessel walls. Every hot, cold shock is a tiny stress that makes your circulation stronger, not weaker. You are not a machine that wears down over time. You are a living organism that adapts to what you ask of it. And for the last 10 or 20 years, you've been asking your body to sit still, eat processed food, hold your breath during stress, and wonder why your feet are cold. Stop wondering. Start asking differently. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, and, for the first time in years, your hands are warm before you even put on a sweater. Imagine walking up a small hill to get the mail and realizing you're not winded halfway up. Imagine lying in bed at night without that restless, creepy, crawly feeling in your calves because your muscles are finally getting the oxygen they've been crying out for. That is not a fantasy. That is the direct result of improved blood flow. And every single man over 60 who has committed to even 3 of these 6 keys for just 14 days has reported at least one of those changes. Some have reported all of them. One gentleman wrote to me that after 3 weeks of heel lifts and legs up the wall, his wife asked if he'd started a new romance because he had more energy and patience than he'd had in a decade. He hadn't started a romance. He had started flowing again. So here is my final word to you, and I want you to take it with you like a stone in your shoe, uncomfortable enough that you won't forget it. The secret is not a secret at all. It is the knowledge that your body was built to heal, but healing requires movement, attention, and a little bit of discomfort. You do not need to run a marathon. You do not need to eat like a monk. You need to lift your heels 10 times an hour. You need to put beets on your plate. You need to breathe like you mean it. And you need to stop believing that cold feet, heavy legs, and a foggy brain are just what happens when a man turns 60. They are not. They are what happens when a man stops fighting. You are still here. Your heart is still beating. Your blood is still red. Now go give it a path to run on. Start tonight, warm socks, legs up the wall. And tomorrow morning, before you sit down for breakfast, 10 heel lifts. I'll be right here cheering for you. Now go prove that you're not done yet, thank you. Truly, not because you listened, but because you stayed until the end. That tells me something important. You're not a man who gives up on himself. You came here looking for a secret, and I gave you 6 not to overwhelm you, but to remind you that your body still has fight left in it. Every heel lift, every deep breath, every warm sock at night is a small rebellion against the lie that aging means slowing down. You have the tools now. The only question is whether you'll use them. If this message helped you, do one thing before you close this window. Share it with one other man over 60. Your brother, your neighbor, your old fishing buddy. Because the real tragedy isn't getting older, it's watching good men believe they have to suffer in silence. Send him this speech, or better yet, call him and say, "Hey, lift your heels with me for 10 seconds. That's how change spreads. Not through grand announcements, but through one tired man showing another that he's not alone. For those of you uploading this talk to your own channels, to social media, to a health group, or to a private message, thank you for being the messenger. You are now part of a quiet army of men over 60 who refuse to accept numbness, cold feet, and fatigue as normal. Use these words freely, spread the science, and never underestimate the power of a single minute of calf raises to change the trajectory of a man's next decade. Goodbye for now, but not farewell. I'll be right here in every heel lift you take, in every beat you reluctantly add to your dinner plate, and in every warm, tingling sensation that returns to your fingertips. You are not done yet. Now go prove it. Take care of that second heart, and remember, blood flow is life. Keep yours moving. Goodbye, gentlemen.